Good afternoon, everybody. Let's start this special panel session titled Urban Data Analytics Platform Based on Earth Observation and Artificial Intelligence, Latitudo 40, Geospatial Data and Business Innovation. This is a special session we could organize with the support by Intesa Sanpaolo Innovation Center. And our guest is Maurizio Manente. I briefly introduce him. He is CTO and co-founder of the Latitudo 40, that is an enterprise involved in the artificial intelligence applied to satellite images. But I don't want to waste time, and so I give the floor to Dr. Mauro Manente.
Thank you, Paola. Thank you, all of you, to be here in presence and also remotely. Thank you to the University of Florence, to the Italian Association of Cartography, and to the International Association of Cartography, and also to Intesa Sanpaolo Innovation Center to give us the opportunity to tell you our story. As Paola said, we are an Italian and in the south of Italy, in Naples. We are based in Naples. Company born in 2017, and we are here to tell you how we got our path to become an innovation startup dedicated to Earth observation and Earth monitoring, applying satellite images, artificial intelligence to satellite images. So I'm the CTO of Latitudo 40. As I said, we are born as a university spin-off from Federico II University of Naples. Basically, we met a group of researchers in Earth observation with a focus on radar images. As founder, we were representing an industrial point of view, and they were representing the same scientific point of view. Given this, we started to think that we can solve many problems on many markets, applying new algorithms to Earth observation data that, let me say, that is not something really new. Earth observation exists for several years. So now there's the opportunity to access information to the data, but this access up to the beginning of our story was really difficult to who we call not space addicted. So people that also from government or for enterprises that have no specific know-how on how to access satellite data, how to process them, which kind of information are contained in the images, and how they can be used to solve problems. This was the beginning of our story, and the first problem we choose to solve, or maybe it's better to say the first market that we chose to provide a solution for was the infrastructure monitoring. And for us, infrastructure meant railways, pipelines, gas, water, oil, or whatever, and power grids. This is related to the experience of our co-founder from the university related to the radar images. Obviously, what we also started to think was, okay, we have the knowledge on how to process the image, but obviously there's the need on how to create an automatic workflow to share to collect the images and to download them and to have the chance to apply specific algorithm based on machine learning and deep learning to increase the information amount that we can extract from satellite images. This was our first approach, and over there we didn't start to understand how to move the information under a geospatial point of view. We were focused under a more technological point of view and market point of view, but focused on how to extract this information using, among the other things, a cloud infrastructure, because obviously we cannot think to create an innovation platform based on Earth observation data that can be based on our own premises. So this is what we started, and this led us to the first incubation experience. This was a good training activities for 2 years, also because from little later our foundation as a company, we understood that there was not a good marriage between the industry and the academic entities that were fused in our company. So founders from the university left the company, and only one of the member of the university group decided to stay with us and continue this adventure. And we took the opportunity from the ESA Business Incubation Center in the 2017 that gave us the chance to have a focus on a business problem using the technology and starting to demonstrate our capacity to apply what we know and under a technological and under a commercial point of view to this sector that is allowing more and more access to different products from Earth observation satellites in terms of number. There are more or less 350 satellites of Earth observation that are now in orbit. So we are all the raw materials to work with on a specific market. So we moved to the water pipeline monitoring, and there was the occasion to have a first customer for a proof of concept that was obviously included in the incubation experience that used our algorithm to monitor his own infrastructure for water leaks in the pipelines. Just a few words on the other founder of the company. I'm the CTO, as I said. Gaetano Volpe is our CEO. Vincenzo Vecchio is in charge of the growth under a marketing and commercial experience. And Donato is our R&D friend, also because with Vincenzo, with Gaetano, we are first, also obviously with Donato, we are first friends and then founders. We shared more or less 20 years of experience with different companies, different startups, different markets, and obviously different technologies. So this is probably one of our strengths as a company. After this, just to give you an idea of what was the output of this, our first thoughts about how to organize our technology, how to sell our technology to the customer. This is a simple way to represent the architecture. We had this is an idea basically from Gaetano, our CEO, that is not an engineer, is a marketing and commercial experienced man, to create something like the Lego blocks, like a game, to giving the chance to people that are not space addicted to create their own geospatial solution based on Earth observation and based on artificial intelligence, giving them these little blocks to combine among each other to create its own solution for more or less every market. And this is what probably this is our first mistake, or maybe we had a dream, but obviously this is the good starting point to understand where we failed to change the way we should go ahead. So based on this concept, we created a software as a service solution that can serve virtually all markets. Obviously, we just started to understand that trying to fight against every market is not in our strengths, in our possibilities. So at the beginning, as we had already some customers, we choose the infrastructure monitoring, adding also the agriculture and the urban monitoring. This means for us restricting the chances gave to the customers to create their own solution, and we started thinking to specific solution, avoiding the customer to select his own specific software application or application of our algorithm, but focusing on specific market. And more or less, this is a good starting point, because we decided to somehow change the way we were thinking to our possibilities. Obviously, we are dreamers. So having the chance to serve more or less every market could be great, but obviously having infinite resources to do this is not in our possibilities. So what we did was a second incubation experience, and this is the starting of a relationship among Latitudo 40, that Latitudo 40 is, Latitudo is in Esperanto, an ancient language, and obviously means the latitude. 40 is the latitude of Naples, obviously not only of Naples, but is the latitude of Naples. And we are based in Naples, but for a strange combination of events, we start to move toward the city of Turin. And the first experience was related to one of the big player in the grid management, power grid management in Italy, and they selected us for their innovation center in Turin and not in Naples, also having us an office in Naples, but they selected us for Turin. So we started a second incubation experience because we felt the need to focus our products on specific markets and trying to validate our product market fit. And this was the chance given by the incubator from the Politecnico di Torino. And this was on 2020, so not a good year for all the world, but probably it was a good moment for us. And with their support, we had the chance to focus our products on basically two markets. The first one was the urban monitoring, always under a general point of view, not on their specific phenomenon that happens in a city. And the second one is the agriculture, but not under a precision farming point of view, but collecting data from space on agriculture fields to be provided to financial institutions or credit scoring companies that use our data in their own models to understand if a company that owns that farm is reliable and has a good score for a credit loan concession. This is an important step because at that time we started to create this kind of product. So we were moving on the left. You have what we did under a urban monitoring point of view, starting to work on our own algorithms and collecting data from different sources applied to cities. This was our first MVP on the urban monitoring, and on the second, on the top right image, we started to use one of the algorithms that are we are proud of, the land surface monitoring under a land surface temperature estimation using Sentinel-2 images that have no thermal data inside. So this is a model that we developed for a different purpose, but we moved our technology to marry to specific market, and this is the demonstration that what we did in the past could be applied as is in a specific market with a specific focus. So this is the case of land surface temperature, the green areas classification, collecting air quality data from Sentinel-5P or regional CAMS, as we want to call it. And on the other side, we were starting to use all the technology that we developed to search and collect all kinds of images from all kinds of provider, institutional or commercial, as in the starting architecture that I shown, in order to provide some information on the fields. What you are seeing right now is related to the water stress of plants or crops, and some algorithms are related to the classification of specific area of that crops. So you can understand that we were moving from a general purpose solution to a focused solution with two different interfaces, trying to understand if our this kind of minimum viable products should fit, could fit to the market that we were working with. So keeping this in mind, then we moved from an incubation program to what we define the acceleration program. This was something that we started to think more or less in 2000, at the end of 2019, going on one of the third best acceleration networks existing in the world. So having the chance to apply for something that the case is strange things happen in the life. In Turin, the city of Turin made a partnership with Techstars, and we had the chance to apply for what now is called the Cities of the Future Techstar the Techstars program. I will not say more words on this program because after my intervention there will be the intervention of Luigi Ruggerone that will explain you what we did on and what means to be in the Techstars family. The only thing that I have to say is that from that acceleration program, we had the chance to learn from the other startups, from the mentors, and we met probably 400 mentors for every place in the world and for every market. We never known the existence, and from the Techstars family. And what we got is the chance to move to our solution. So you can I think you can see the difference among the starting point of our MVPs and what we were moving toward using what we learned during the acceleration program. This is part of the problem we start to solve also related to how to represent this information under a geospatial point of view. So we were fusing the land surface temperature estimation, as I was saying, is our own model based on machine learning applied on Sentinel-2 images. After this process, we moved toward the geospatial representation of those data in order to start to focus this kind of information related to urban monitoring on a specific phenomenon or more than one. In this case, we are analyzing the phenomenon related to the urban heat islands. Then we added some information and represented some information in a different way, starting from the same sources we were using in our MVPs. The same said for our classification of the land cover, so in particular to vegetation, also in order to start thinking on what is our current focus, the urban climate change, I mean. And we also used the experience on working on radar images also to monitor some phenomena that can happen and means a risk for the city. And this is our starting point for the I don't know if it's the final problem that we are trying to solve. Obviously, we are not solving the climate change because probably too little. We are too little to solve this problem. But giving the chance to a city to know better what's happening on its own territory, and trying to avoid what the World Bank estimates as a 1,000 billion year global cost for cities and also for real estate is something that was fascinating and gave us the chance to apply all we learned during our story and with a focus that we learned during the Techstars program to focus on the problem that is where to find the data, how to elaborate them, and how to keep them up to date. These are the three pillars that we were analyzing at the beginning of our story, but focused on urban monitoring. Then we added a couple of things that are the switching point on our current story, on how to simulate the effect of what a city is planning to do to fight the climate change, and finally, also if there's the chance to give the information to finance these actions. So we created what was the starting point, what we call the Urban Data Analytics Platform that, as I said, is based on the same pillars that were at the beginning of our story, satellite images, artificial intelligence, also on the geospatial analysis, that was something that we discovered as a problem to solve to democratize the access to this information, with a focus to help cities to plan their action for climate change. The technology is the same. The difference is how we use this information, giving the chance to the city to access our dashboard with all the data that I showed you, giving also the citizens the chance to see the ESG KPIs that the city wants to choose to demonstrate that is acting toward the climate change for the well-being of the people, of the citizens. And last but not least, this is how we think to finance this kind of actions, trying to use our model for the carbon sequestration estimation from the green areas in the city as a source of not revenues but funds or services that can help the city to maintain their green areas, their green infrastructure to fight the climate change. How it works, it's simple. The idea is mapping the area, know anything we can know about the environment and how the city is evolving, analyze the trends and also identify the risks, and then put all this information in the current or future action plans, having the chance to simulate if, for example, increasing the greenery of a city is going to fight the urban heat island phenomenon, or maybe obviously increasing the chance to sequestrate more CO2, or all the information that can be used also for phenomena like the runoff with the extreme weather accidents that today are often happens in also big cities that things to be resilient to this kind of phenomena. Just to give you a couple of use cases that we are bringing ahead with two cities in Europe, with the Ayuntamiento de Barcelona. We are focusing on their urban heat islands phenomenon, calculating a cooling index with a model that we derived from Stanford University, but automatized and also created an automatic way to collect the information that serves to the model, to define the cooling index. So that means how the surface is able, the land surface is able to fight the heat phenomenon due to climate change. On the other side, with Torino City Lab, that is an initiative of the city of Turin, we are focused on what we can call the nature-based solution that the city of Turin already applied in several projects, but we are trying with them to demonstrate that with our information they are able to simulate some interventions and to plan where to put specific nature-based solutions. That means changing the pavement, planting trees on roofs, having orchards. I mean, there are several nature-based solutions that obviously cannot be placed everywhere in the city, also because it does not make sense in this way. This is our value proposition, because obviously what we aim to is giving high accuracy now in the data that we provide. All we are talking about is automatic, 100%, so there's no human intervention in selecting places or correcting factors. This means also that our technology and our platforms are scalable. We can apply them almost everywhere in the world. And we provide also the chance to integrate our technology to existing platforms from the city or from other companies that want to provide this kind of information or want to use this kind of information. And obviously using satellite, we have our worldwide coverage. Just a couple of words on now everything is made on an empirical analysis. There's the chance to use drones, but obviously this means something difficult, and satellite is actually used at 1% as a solution for this. Obviously, we are taking the chance to use satellite to having the power to use historical data, having the worldwide coverage, obviously saving money because we can do anything from our desk without the need to go on the specific places, and obviously using a multi-parameter analysis. That means to analyze different phenomena for cities. Our model is simple. We kept the model for the software as a service. And as I said, we at the moment we are working with cities and also with software integrators or consulting companies for cities for climate plans and city monitoring. But the other aspect that we are trying to bring out is also to create a marketplace for business-to-business customers to sell voluntary carbon credits that for a city means money, or maybe it's better to say the city can receive services from small companies, small enterprises of the territory that can maintain their greenery, that can maintain their territory, to giving the city the chance to keep the level of carbon sequestration always high. We obviously have a competitor. The only thing I want to say is we are focusing on multi-data source, and we are focusing also on the urban sector, avoiding the mistake probably that we made at the beginning, thinking to solve almost everything and everywhere in the world. Couple of information on what we did this year and what we plan, and we are near to reach these goals almost for 2022. For 2023, we hope so, obviously. And just to give you an idea on where we are working and what we are doing so far, thanks to what we learned during all our story, and in specific during the Techstars Cities for the Future acceleration program this year in Turin. That's all from me, and now I take the chance to ask to Luigi Ruggerone to join us here and start his presentation on the Techstars Cities for the Future acceleration program.
Le giro con le frecce. Okay. Right, thanks very much. Thank you, Mauro. That was very interesting. Let me also thank the organizers of this terrific venue. I'm very happy to be here, Professor Scano and Professor Elsa Zamperlin, and also my colleagues at the Innovation Center who devoted a lot of effort in organizing our presentation here. And we're very happy to having shared with you, with those who have ventured to be present here physically. Thanks very much. And also, we're very proud to have shared it with those colleagues who have been joining this conference today from remote. So thanks very much, Professor Scano. Thanks very much, Professor Zampolin. Right, only a few words and a few slides on this program that Mauro has been mentioning several times in his speech. Just to make you understand what is this about. And also, one of the main reasons for us to be here is also because we know that in the audience today, here and in remote, there are very brilliant researchers, very brilliant brains who have been devoting their efforts and their career to studying, analyzing, researching, and producing bright, new, and brilliant ideas. As a bank, Intesa Sanpaolo is very keen to get in touch with people like you. Mauro is the living proof that a spin-off from university and research can become a very successful startup with the appropriate help from institutions like Intesa Sanpaolo and Intesa Sanpaolo Innovation Center, with appropriate institutions that believe in them, that enhance and favor the mobilization of resources, not just financial resources. This is not only about financial resources. I think Mauro has said that. It's not just about money. It's not just about investment. It's also about bringing the right people around the right ideas and help these ideas to become proof of concepts and then eventually to become products. So that's what we try to do with in our partnership with Techstars. Okay, no, that's not the button I want. Okay, that one. Oh, okay. Oh, the arrow's over there. All right. Okay. I was using the arrows on the dashboard and not on the screen. Right. So, what exactly is this Turin ecosystem that we have been building together with Fondazione Compagnia di Sanpaolo and Fondazione CRT, and obviously also together with Techstars. Techstars might probably be the name who's most familiar to you guys. Techstars is an international accelerator which was born in Boulder, Colorado, which is actually a very active university city. I've been there a couple of times. It's a very fascinating small city, very close to the mountains. So we have built this accelerator together with these partners. Here is a wrap up, is a summary of the major results that we have obtained. Actually, in only a few years, because we have started to work with Techstars and our partners only a couple of years ago. This is actually a snapshot of what Techstars is globally. Techstars is a very well-established company. Within Techstars network, there are more than 2,600 companies. The total funding put together so far, within the Techstars program all over the world, is north to $16 billion, which is a lot of money. The current market capitalization of the companies accelerated by Techstars globally is above 63 billion. And among them, there are 15 unicorns. For those who are not familiar with the financial jargon, unicorn is a company whose market value is above $1 billion. So among the Techstars network, there are now 15 unicorns, which is really an impressive result. So we have partnered with Techstars and also with Compagnia di Sanpaolo and Fondazione CRT. And we have created this partnership, which started in May 2019. Initially, the contract was a 3-year contract, but this year we have We have extended this contract for 1 more year, so it's now a 4-year contract, so it's going to go on until 2023, basically. We started with a startup week in Turin in June 2019, and with a Techstar Summit in September 2019. Then the first class, as we call it, started in January 2020. Unfortunately, we were very unlucky to bump into the COVID pandemic, which was certainly not good news, but we made possible. We made a big effort to make possible the fact that all the participants could still follow, even from remote, mentorship and the acceleration programs. And this turned out to be actually quite successful. In the first class, we had 11 startups joining our program. And this year, which is the second class, we increased by 1 unit, so we now have 12 startups which started the acceleration process and program with us. In January next year, we will start with a new class, and actually in these days, as you can imagine, we are at the final stages of selection of the startups that will be promoted to participate in next year's program. Just to give you an idea, I believe we have the figures and the data here. No, not really. Let me check. No, we don't. Just to give you an order of magnitude, every year we publish an international call, and we receive between 250 and 300 startup as candidates. So we run a selection program because we normally reduce the number to startups accelerated to 12, not more than 12, 10 plus 2 normally. This means that there is a big and very rigorous and thorough selection process. But like I said before, we always want to attract the best, and so far we have been successful in doing that. So I think we are happy with our job. And what is also important is that this acceleration program, thanks very much. This acceleration process and program has been creating an ecosystem around Turin. In a way, Mauro already mentioned this. What's an ecosystem? An ecosystem is not just an economic; it's an economic and social system. It's a fabric that is able to attract brains, to attract companies, to attract funding, to attract investors, and is also able to integrate the startups and the funders and the investors in the city. I'm very happy to underline the fact that Latitudo 40 has been working with Turin a lot. So even if they come from Naples, which is still an Italian company, but is still quite far away from Turin, we were able to attract them, accelerate them, and work with them. This is what an ecosystem is supposed to do. An ecosystem is supposed to be an attractor. The better the ecosystem, the more attractive is the ecosystem itself. And I think at the end of the presentation there is a slide which summarizes how many startups we have been able to attract in Turin and from what countries of the world. So this is also, in a way, a geographic connotation of how we work. Initially, our accelerator was under the heading of a smart cities of a smart mobility accelerator. But then, as of this year, for reasons that that really are not a major focus here, but we decided together with our partners to expand the scope and the focus of the accelerator from smart mobility to more generally a smart city concept. And this, I think, is a plus. This is also in itself, an acceleration process of the acceleration program. So I think this is very good news, because not only are we working with companies who are mainly focusing and mainly engaged in smart mobility, but also into smart city, which is a more general heading that embeds obviously ESG, that embeds SDGs and so on. So this, I think, is is also a good signal of how well we have been working, and we are very proud of it. Okay, this is how the selection process works. It's not particularly interesting here. This is how the acceleration program works. It's a very tight schedule. You can confirm that. We give the startups a little bit of money. We give them a location, a place. We give them spaces where they can develop their proof of concepts, and we help them find mentors. But we are also very demanding, so we ask them to take part very actively and very thoroughly to the acceleration process. So this is what we require from them. So it's actually a give and take. It's a very tough give and take relationship. It lasts 13 weeks. So 13 weeks seems a long time, but it's not a very long time. So that's why we have a very tight schedule, and then that's why we need to put together the most brilliant ideas and the most brilliant brains. This is the slide I was referring to. As you can see, we pride ourselves for being able to attract startups from various countries of the world. In 2020, we had 4 startups from the US. And actually, one of those in particular is called Shiva. If you see the top right logo, Shiva is a stylized car. That is originally a US startup, which has been so happy with Turin and with the hospitality of Turin, with the acceleration process, that they actually decided to become an Italian company. So this is a very, good and I'm afraid almost unique example in which Americans decided to move away from their country and establish a company in Italy. So we are very proud of that. We attracted 2 companies from Germany, 2 from Italy, 1 from the UK, and so on and so forth. I'm not very good with flags, so I'm not sure which flag is the blue cross in the red camp. So not even the other one was Ukraine. The last one I think is Ukraine. So I beg your pardon, but I'm not very good with flags. Same story this year. So we're also attracting a couple of startups from Israel, which is it's a pretty good result. Israel is probably one of the most advanced countries in terms of new technologies and startup incubation acceleration. So this is something we're very proud of. So this, just to give you an idea of how hard we have been working and how keen we are to get in touch with those among you guys who have good ideas that might become, startups and new companies. If you think you have a good idea, please do get in touch with us, and we will help you to assess and evaluate your ideas and help you, develop your idea into a product, a process. Some other wrap-up numbers. So overall, we have accelerated 23 international companies from 9 different countries in the first 2 years of operations of this accelerator. We've had 228 international mentors, 3 startups from the program established in Italy, 1 in Turin as an Italian startup, Innovativa. We have had 18 proof of concepts with Italian stakeholders and 7 with the Turin municipality, similarly to the Turin City Lab that Mauro was mentioning. And obviously, you know, because after all, Intesa Sanpaolo Innovation Center is a small innovation company that belongs to a large banking group. We have to talk about money and financing, and there's no way we can get away with it. And we have helped our startups to finance and fund more than $19 million, which is not a bad result, you know. So on average is almost 1 million per startup. If we had 23 international companies, we helped them put together 90 million, which I think is quite a good result. So this is pretty much what I wanted to share with you. And again, if you believe you have good ideas or colleagues who may have good ideas, please do get in touch with us or have a chat with Mauro and his folks. And hopefully our roads will cross again. Thanks very much. Thanks. Can I get some water?
Yeah, please. Any question from the public or any question from remotely? I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed. I know that's easy to set up a company in the Silicon Valley. That's so easy in Naples. So I understand how long is the path.
I know, yeah.
And there's no.
We're trying to make the path shorter.
But I heard just. But we have a question, but we need a microphone.
We need a microphone. You have a microphone, yes.
Question is about the
Can you,
topic. Oh, sorry.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, sorry. Milena Bertacchini, Università di Modena, Reggio Emilia.
Okay, thank you.
I am the officer of a university museum. So a question is about the topics of the startup that is related to sustainability, mobility, and so on. But there are projects about culture, museum culture, and innovation.
Yeah, the short answer is yes. Obviously, culture is not part of the Techstar acceleration program, which is devoted, as we said, to smart city. However, at the Innovation Center of Intesa, I mean, I don't want to turn this into, you know, a marketing, you know, a marketing spot, but I have to answer the question. At the Innovation Center, we have developed some projects in the cultural heritage environment, because in the Innovation Center, and I know I'm talking to in an environment of scientists and researchers, we have 2 applied research labs. One is an artificial intelligence lab, and that is also why we were interested in a startup like Latitudo, because they make extensive use of machine learning. And the other lab is a neuroscience lab. And with the neuroscience lab, for example, we have run what I think is a fantastic program in which we have recorded the cerebral waves of people looking at the Last Supper of Leonardo da Vinci in Milan. And we also recorded where their eyes were pointing. We are in a cartography environment, so that is also, you know, a spatial, in a way, I'm trying to connect dots, even if these dots are kind of, you know, fading away. But so, and we have collected all this data, and we have analyzed this data, and we have given back this data to the director of the Leonardo of the museum in Milan. And according to the result of our research, they have decided to change the lights because some parts of the fresco were completely overlooked, and they have also decided to change the approach to the fresco because they felt that the explanation of the masterpiece was not clear enough, especially for those who were approaching the painting for the first time. So the short answer is yes, we do have some programs which can be applied to art and culture.
Thank you.
Sure. I don't know.
No. Nothing to add.
Any other question? No question? No? So we have to thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
very
thank you,
much.
but I really appreciate your contribution, your different approaches, but your integration, your different integrated approaches.
Yes.
And I tried in my past, Professor Margherita Zeri knows, I tried to create a spin-off at the university, but the problem is not financial. The problem is the context. Is to have having an idea is not enough.
The problem is the mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mindset, but if you are only mindset, only an idea, but from the idea to the realization of the idea, there's a long path.
Absolutely. No.
And I think nobody alone can be done this path.
No, this is the reason why an acceleration program works.
Yeah, and so I really impressed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor
Thank you.
Zapri. Thank you, Professor Scan. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.